Hi, good evening, and welcome to Thfc Tottenham Till I Die post-match show against Fulham, where we beat Fulham 2-1 yesterday at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and we're going to look through that. We're also going to look a little bit ahead to the game on Wednesday against Marseille, and also I want to get the guys and your favourite moments as Tottenham reach 140 year old tomorrow. And it's actually on, I think it's the very day, tomorrow's the very day that Tottenham Hotspur were formed. With me tonight, well, this man is the godfather. If he tells you to do something, you do it. And that includes watching Sky Sports. Is one and only Philip Brady. How are you this evening, Philip?
Yeah, great, Dermot. Yeah, good weekend all around football-wise. All the results went our way, I think. And yeah, good. Looking forward to this breakdown of
And
the game.
yeah, and down below, well, this fella, he was our roving reporter yesterday. Even thanked Mr. Levy twice, no, three times, live on air for his free beers. And I wonder
Well,
if he do. I wonder will he do it sober tonight now on this channel? Will he thank Mr. Levy for his free beers tomorrow? But he is one of our own. He is Gary Mabbitt's biggest fan, Mark Cousins. How are you, Mark, this evening?
very well, Dermot. Glad to be on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to show people our new design T-shirts, which we will be putting into production if we can actually find somebody to do them for us?
Very good. Lovely. Yeah.
He was advertising this yesterday with his 3 pints. Are you going to thank Mr. Levy again?
Well, yeah, really, because you don't get much out of him, do you? Right, nothing really. And so when I went in the ground and they give me like a wristband with it had 2 little like strips on it, and you tore one off and said, "I'll have a pint," and that was it. And it was a special bar as well.
Was it?
1882 bar.
See, we all know Mark. We all know Mark is in big company. He goes in there. He doesn't go where the normal people go. Mark goes to the posh area. Yeah, we all know who Mark talks to during the week. I just want to start on the referee, Philip. You said in the watch long you're not his biggest fan. Look, let's get this out of the way. And sorry, before we do that, we've got people in the chat. Sorry, I'm all over the place today. I do apologise. We've got Corey Boy, big up, said, had to get my fix of AFC Clown TV after United match. Haha. Anyone else enjoy it? Can look all good beating 5 easy teams, but played United, get wrecked. Philip, what do you think of the United match? Do you think were Arsenal that bad?
If I'd be more worried if I was Ten Hag than Lego Man. I thought Arsenal. Now again, this is a heresy for a Tottenham fan to say this, but I'm actually quite impressed with Arsenal this afternoon. They were quick off the ball. Their passing and movement was very good. United were very sluggish, and just got a couple of lucky breaks, and they got the goals, but they did. So, I think, to be honest, I think Arsenal are going to be a bigger rival to us this season than United. United have a lot of work to do. Even though they won 3-1, the scoreline did not reflect the game.
No, and we've got them coming up in October as well, haven't we?
Arsenal? Yeah.
So, we've got a big match. Chris, big up, Chris. Thanks for coming in. Bada THFC, big up Dermot, Mark, and the Godfather Philip. Big up, thank you for coming. And here's the Queen. She's not on tonight, bless her. She's very tired after yesterday. All the work she did for yesterday, like Mark as well. She went, "Hello, boys. I'm here. I'm there. I'm everywhere." Just like my idol, Holberg. Sorry, Ellie. I've tried. I cannot get his name right. Holberg. Ellie was practicing with me earlier, trying to get it right. The first time I say it, I get it wrong. Sorry, Ellie. But big up, Ellie, and thank you for everything you've done yesterday. And all Ellie's videos is in a playlist. It's called Ellie at the Lane, and it's got everything there. And I've got more videos to put up after the show. So Ellie interviewing, I think, Alex Davis. She had a picture taken with Mark and Phil Latiz as well, and other people, and also with Jen. And also she did a bit of an interview with a young Reading youngster whose dream is to play for Tottenham one day. So that'd be interesting to see. But big up, Ellie. Thank you very much. And big up, Ellie said, and then C. Sherman, Hoy Beer. Thanks, C. Sherman. Thank you very much for having dyslexic is a nightmare sometimes. So it's not easy, but thank you very much. And also, just want to say thank you also very quickly before we do get on with the show to our Patreon members, to Philip, who's Izan, Ellie, Leo, and Mark today become a Sun Golden Boot member.
Yes.
The link is in the chat. I think it starts at €3.99, €3, all the way up to €10. There's 3 different levels. So if you can, any money does help, does come into the channel, and it makes us improve the channel for better streams for you, and so we can upgrade our equipment as well, so we can give you better entertainment. And also there is the link to our PayPal. If you don't become a member, the link's in the chat. Just PayPal's there, and every little bit helps. It really does. Right, lads, let's get on with the show. As I said to you, Philip, Stuart Atwell. Now, I know he's not your favourite referee of the month. I made that quite clear yesterday how you felt about him. But he was really awful yesterday. I rewatched the game, and some of his decisions were just mind-boggling.
I think it's been a bad weekend for refereeing in general, really. I mean, there's been so many controversial decisions. There's been so many wrong decisions given. And somebody says, what's the point in having VAR if we can't even get the decisions right when we've had time to look at it again after the fact? And I think the problem is VAR was brought in for a reason. The referees weren't up to the job. And what's happened now? The same referees that weren't up to the job are the ones that are doing VAR.
Yeah.
So it's just all it's done is kick the can down the road, really. There's no solutions. But going back to Stuart Atwell, I mean, this guy should not even be refereeing schoolboy matches. I'm sorry. He was demoted a few years ago for giving it the phantom. The only time it's ever happened, I think, he gave a goal that never was. The ball went in the wrong side of the post, under the net and into the net, and he gave a goal, and it cost the team 3 points. And he was demoted to Division 1 for that, but he's since fought his way back. Now he's going hell for leather to get back to doing schoolboy football now, because I mean some of his decisions yesterday were just not what you'd expect from a Premiership referee. I mean, I don't want to go into the individual ones, but it just does my head in the standard of refereeing. And out of the 6 matches that we have had so far, I think we've had dodgy reffing in at least 5 of them.
Yeah. And
for both teams, not just for Spurs, for both teams. The only game that was any sort of continuity was the Southampton match, I think. Mr. Atwell, please don't come back to us. Like I heard the Arsenal fans today complaining that Paul Tierney, who refereed their game today, is from Salford, which is beside Manchester.
Yeah.
And they reckon that was going to be an issue. Anthony Taylor's from Manchester. He referees Man United games all the time. But Stuart Atwell, I'm sorry, I just don't want to see him around again. He's not
I was going to leave this to the last, Philip and Mark, but I might as well start with it because of the continue on what I might say. I've got 2 parts to this question first. I'll start with you, Mark, then I'll go with you, Philip. Do you think VAR needs to change?
There should be. See, it's subjective, isn't it?
It is.
VAR. Some of the decisions you think, well, that's all right. When there's a little nudge or a little knee, I mean, it's not necessarily a foul. But when you slow it down to almost pause, it looks worse than it is. I mean, you've got to remember these footballers are grown men. And when you see, the barest touch. All right, I know they're running fast and whatever, but the barest touch and they're rolling about all over the place. It's. I don't know. I don't know what they can do about it, because
I mean, let's put it this way, Mark. Look, we've seen the decisions yesterday. The offside rules changing every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's changed. How a goal was offside has changed from last season. Does VAR now need to change with the people that are doing it, or do we just keep VAR like for just goals crossing the line and just keep it as it was, or do you think it ruins the game too much now?
I don't think you can have it just for like goals crossing the line, because the way Sky do the reporting and that, they're always trying to pick. They slow it down to the almost pause, and they're always trying to pick apart lots sort of dodgy decisions, and so if you just made it for goals, they'd have a field day, and the refs would just say, well, I'm not doing it anymore because I'm just going to get like slaughtered on Sky or in the media. So I mean, there was a comment just a minute ago about like giving it to ex pros. I mean, that's a great idea, but would they want to do it? I mean, let's face it. I mean, none of them are short of a pound or two, are they? Or a euro or two. You know, so. You know, I mean, especially the top ones that have played it. The sort of professional footballers that have played at the top level. I mean, they understand the game, of course they do, and they know what's a foul and what's not a foul. But knowing that, you probably get Roy Keane on VAR for Man United games. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, Philip, look, we've seen some dodgy VAR decisions over the last few weeks, and Tottenham has been at the brunt of them. I mean, I think the Richarlison goal yesterday was a good goal. I don't think it was that far offside, to be fair.
Well, it probably was, and Lee. I think actually our game probably had the least contentious VAR decisions of the whole weekend.
Yeah.
To be honest, you know, I know we love to think he was onside, but he probably was. His toenail was offside. But I think, you know, and again, Ellie's going to kill me when I say this. I felt sorry for West Ham yesterday as well because their goal being disallowed at the end. That was the most ridiculous one of the week.
Oh, that was awful. Awful.
You know, the guy's foot happened to make contact with Mendy. Mendy goes down like he's been hit by a tank.
Yeah.
You know, and to compound the mistake he was after making, I mean, that was a shocking decision. Then the one at Newcastle where a goal was ruled out as well that shouldn't have been. Plus at Brighton today, plus the one. And where else was there one done? There was another game in Everton had a goal disallowed against Liverpool, you know, because his toenail was offside. I think what's happening in the World Cup, or so I'm told, the World Cup and the Champions League, I believe, is there's a different version of VAR being utilised. It's a more robotic thing, or a more what's the word I'm looking for? It's more techie based,
computerized,
human based.
Yeah.
So hopefully that will do away with the wrong decisions, because what VAR has done now, it sucked the life out of a game. When the ball goes in the net, your initial reaction is, yeah, we go. Now, if you hang on, hold back a bit, this might not be a goal.
Yeah.
And it's killing the entertainment value.
Yeah.
For the real fans. Okay, for the neutral fan who doesn't give a shit who wins or loses, it's fine. But you can imagine how we'd feel yesterday if we had a goal choked off like West Ham had, or Brighton had, or Newcastle or Everton had. They're going mad. So got to do something about it before it ruins the game. And as my point before is, VAR was brought in to help referees make less bad decisions, and the same refs like Mike Dean are now running the bloody thing. So it's ridiculous.
I mean, Philip, I mean, look, we have a sort of VAR and the GAA over here. There's VAR in rugby. In American football, they make decisions, but the ref talks to the fans and said, "This is why we've made this decision."
Yeah.
Can we learn from other sports with VAR? Can football take inspiration or ideas from other sports to implement them into our game to make it easier for fans and people watching why VAR or why the referee made that decision?
Well, I'll give you an example. Yeah, I'll answer that question in a sec. But I just want to amplify my answer by referring back to the Brighton-Leicester game today. Yeah. McAllister's probably goal of the season was ruled out because of an offside. But when it went to VAR, the VAR screen froze for about 2 minutes, showing the line of players across. It never moved. They couldn't get the lines right to see who was offside or not. So eventually, it took 4.5 minutes from the time the ball hit the net before the goal was disallowed. That is crazy, right? Okay. Yeah. The next thing I was going to say about it, they should take a leaf out of rugby's book. The rugby VAR official, or TMU or whatever they call him, TMO, talks to the referee and the crowd can hear what's going on. Yeah. You know exactly what he's talking about and say, why is the goal disallowed? And the reasoning for it. They'll go through it again. They'll talk it through. There can be no misunderstandings there. And players are not allowed to interfere with the referee when this is going on. Now, that would be ideal to bring in soccer, but can you imagine what would happen? The players would be around jostling the ref, you know, trying to get in his earpiece to find out what was going on. But I think that to talk the players through it would lead to a greater understanding for the players on the pitch, and maybe dilute the tension on the pitch. What they thought might have been a very bad decision, the guy in the VAR booth can say, no, he definitely was offside. His boot was high or something. Okay, that's fair enough. We'll take that. But they go off now, not really knowing why the goal has been disallowed until after the match. Then that leads to referees being accosted by managers at the end, like David Moyes yesterday. It would lead to a complete downplaying of the tensions that are involved when a goal is disallowed. But they probably won't do it.
No,
They probably won't do it.
Yeah.
you know they won't. I mean, Mark. I mean, look, we had Richarlison's goal chopped off. He gets a ridiculous yellow card yesterday. The most
Well, he took his
ridiculous
shirt off.
yellow for taking
Yeah.
his shirt off. I mean, and then I think the referee booked him for doing his chicken celebration as well.
Well, you
I
get
mean,
booked for taking
Couldn't
your
have
shirt
booked
off.
it twice.
Yeah, probably did book him once with shirt off and booked him twice for bad dancing. But look, he got a stupid. Do you feel VAR is taking the good out of the game? I mean, you were there yesterday.
Yeah.
How did it feel for you in the stadium watching it? How did it? Did you feel it was just badly done?
Well, when Richarlison scored, obviously we all went mental. But then you're looking around at the linesman and looking at one of the big screens to see if, like, and then all of a sudden you're like going crazy in the stand because Spurs have scored. Then the next thing, up on one of the big screens, VAR check. And you think, oh, well, that was a waste of time. I'll sit down again. You know?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's going to be a problem because in rugby, where they've got VAR, the players have got utmost respect for the referee. There's no swearing.
Yeah.
I will bring that up again, Mark.
No, but like in rugby,
yeah,
like the players have got the utmost respect to the referee. There's no swearing. I mean, even though the ref's live, you don't hear one of the rugby players, "What the hell are you doing?" You know, you don't hear none of that. You know, I mean, can you imagine if the ref was mic'd up in football? There'd be all sorts of, you know. Well, it wouldn't be a family like because most Premier League games now are like family friendly. You imagine that being broadcast in the stadium.
Did have a guy with a finger on the bleep button for the most work, the most overworked man in the stadium.
And all the mums and dads in the crowd would be like permanently covering the kiddies' ears up. Like,
come on, Mark.
listen to that.
I'm hearing 6-year-olds saying worse than what we said when we were their age, to be fair. So
yeah. But
I mean, did you feel yesterday it took the enjoyment out of you, or do you think it's just we've just got to get used to it? It's here it just needs to be done better.
Well, put it this way: Fulham, the whole game, were wasting so much bloody time. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it says it in the first half. There was no serious injuries. No one had blood gushing everywhere, and there was 6 minutes added on at the end of the first half. That was just purely because of all their time wasted.
Yeah.
You know,
Mark, I just need to pull Ellie up on something here.
Oh, all right.
Ellie, we all love you. We all think you're brilliant. But please do not name Declan Rice on this channel. He's a traitor.
He's a traitor.
He's a traitor. He's a turncoat, and he's an Englishman. He's got nothing to do with us. Bless you. I will read that shit.
Jack Grealish goes in the same boat as well.
Yeah, he does as well, Philip. I agree with you. She says, I don't like West Ham, but I'm a fair lady. That goal was a good goal by Declan Rice, a good Irish lad that plays for England. He's no Irish lad. Let's put it that way, Ellie.
One of our
And then Ed puts, Ellie, Irish men don't turn their back on their country. He ain't Irish.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a very, very delicate conversation, Ellie. That we will do that on one show actually about the Declan Rice and the Irish, the players that have turned their back on Ireland to play for England. We will do a show in that during the season. And Lisa puts, Matty Hayes shares your sentiment, Dermot. He deletes comments with his name. Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a turncoat. I mean, me and Philip. I mean, if he was to walk in, I'm sure me and Philip and Mr. Harris would actually walk out of the room just out of protest.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is for another show. So listen, guys, me and Nizan yesterday. So just very quickly with the VAR, Philip, we're going to have to see what to do with the Champions League and the World Cup.
Yeah.
Look, I think we're all in agreement it needs changing. I think we're all in agreement. I think letting the fans know would help, would make us understand.
There are an awful lot of frustrated fans around the country today because of the decisions that were made yesterday. Okay, I know we'd be frustrated. If we didn't win the match yesterday, we'd be frustrated. We're not too bad because we won the match.
Yeah.
And let's face it, should have won it by far more. But
Yes.
the teams that have been robbed this weekend by it now, I can understand their frustration because it could be us next week.
Yeah.
Let's face it.
And Ellie saying VAR stands. Well, maybe.
Well, I mean, Liverpool, not only did Liverpool get away with a goal that was scored against them yesterday, but the Sky Sports darling of the year, Virgil van Dijk, should have got a straight red card for the tackle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Straight over the top.
Yeah.
He only gets a yellow card. I mean, that guy, wrap him up in cotton wool and look after him. That's all their attitude is, because he can do no wrong. And it delights me to see him playing crap this season because he's been overrated so much over the last few years and overhyped by Sky. And to see him struggling is happy days.
Yeah, I mean, guys, I'm going to put this out here, and people in the chat comments, please come and get your thoughts. Philip, look, we had the bottle thrown incident yesterday against Jurgen Klopp at the Everton-Liverpool game. We've had incidents cropping in for the last couple of years. Do you feel the way VAR is now, and with tensions that we know that can be in football, it's full of emotions, it's full of passion, that this is adding to what's creeping into the game with the fans? Do you think it has something to do with it?
It's not only VAR, it's refereeing decisions in general, and I'll tell you one, the players too have a lot to answer for too, because I mean, in the good old days, right, the likes of Jimmy Greaves' day, say, right, he was playing against guys marking them with hobnail boots, right? And he took kickings every game. He got up and he got on with it. The slightest brush some of these players get now, and they're going down like they've been shot. And the one that gets me most is when you see a player gets a knock on the shoulder and he goes down like that, holding his face.
Yeah.
Now that is only done for one thing: to get the opposing player sent off.
Yeah.
And that's one good thing that maybe VAR can do, is eliminate that by looking back and saying, no, he never went anywhere near your face. So I think VAR refereeing, players in general have to behave better, because let's face it, a lot of them are good actors, very good actors.
Yeah.
Like some of them are better actors than they are footballers. And it takes a very good referee to spot and play acting. But unfortunately, the standard of refereeing, now I see there's a whole lot of new guys. I saw a guy refereeing games that I never heard of him before. So we'll see how they pan out. But hopefully they're better than the guys they've replaced.
I mean, I watched the video earlier, Mark, of this Chelsea fan was being interviewed, like for a channel probably like ours, and this other fan, Chelsea fan, was just shouting abuse at them. Your man chased him down the street. It was the most common thing and the cops are after him, right? So your man gets away from him. So he comes back, he settles him down. Right, I'll go for the interview again. This fan comes back, hurls more abuse at him. That's it. Your man's gone like a shot. He's chasing, and the cops are trying to chase him. It's the most funniest thing you've ever seen in your life.
And that was two Chelsea fans, was it?
Yeah. I mean, there was a video the other day, and his headline was "Massive Punch Up at West Ham Tottenham." So, of course, you're going to watch the video just to see what it's like. And I watched it, and it was only 6 minutes long. Watched it, it's 5 minutes 58. Two fans hurling abuse at each other they're about a meter or about 2 miles apart. They're just shouting at each other. And I'm thinking, if that's a punch up,
well, God, that's what the world's come to these days.
Yeah.
Honestly, that is what the world's like these days. You can't say anything. I mean,
you get these things too, like, fan outrage at such and such performance. There's two people sending a tweet to each other. That's a fan outrage.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the most funniest video I've ever watched in a long time. Just two fans hurling abuse at each other, and one of them was 2 miles apart from each other. You're thinking, Jesus.
Yeah.
So that's.
I mean, you got very. You got to just. Well, you can't say anything these days without someone getting offended by it.
No.
To be honest, so. I can certainly remember the 70s and 80s. Gordon Bennett. I mean, the stuff I saw at football matches in the 70s and 80s, it all, these days it'd all be like, it'd be like a riot. There'd be like World War III going on.
Yeah,
but,
you're right. You're right.
I just want to read this coming out, guys, and whoever wants to go first reply to Ed M. I think it's a brilliant comment. He said, the Premier League is the best league in the world. Why on earth don't they go and get the best officials in the world, whether they be German, Italian, American, or whoever, wherever? Just employ the best people for the best league. And I think to add to that, employ the best people for the best jobs like the VAR. I mean, whoever wants to go first, who wants to go first with that?
There is a problem there. Not a problem. There is an Australian referee on the panel of this season, a guy called Gillette. Now, he's nothing to do with the razor blades, although I'd say the West Ham fans would have cut his throat yesterday because he was the guy on VAR that knocked out their goal. There's only one problem with that. It's the different interpretations of various rules by different football associations. Like you can get a guy coming in from Germany, and a tackle is quite legal in Germany. Might be frowned upon in the Premiership, and that could cause problems. Same with Italian, American. So while it's a very good idea, the referees would all need to be completely on the same hymn sheet about things because things we've got used to here could easily be knocked on its head by you get a free kick for something that's taken as norm up to now. And that's going to cause more unrest in the crowd. Players are going to know what they can do. And that point of view, it's a good idea, but I don't know is it practicable.
No. Yeah, definitely. I mean, this new VAR thing that's coming in, it's like Philip said earlier, it's like all is sort of computer controlled.
Yeah.
And I think I watched something on Sky earlier. It was like the morning football show on Sky. And they were saying it's something like it deals with like millions of different points of view in like seconds. And apparently it's really quick to make decisions. There's none of those 6 minutes anymore where the ref has a look.
Yeah.
You know,
I think Adam says people choose to be offended. I think it's true. Look, you have to be careful what you say, but also you have to respect other people as well. I think respecting other people's cultures, religion, whatever it may be.
Well, that's a good thing.
If you want to be respected yourself, you have to learn to respect other people. And I think it's one thing I've learned coming into this sort of community with all the shenanigans that goes on behind the scenes and all the abuse that you can be heard in you. You've got to learn to respect their opinion. You may not like it, you may not agree with it, but if you respect it, then you're at a higher level. But I think Adam is right. People choose to be offended. And also, I just want to say, Spurs Live, could we join live? Can you put in a comment more? What do you mean by that? We're not getting people on, but put in the comments so we can contact you and hopefully do a stream with you at a later date. Right, Philip, we've done VAR. I was going to leave that to the last, but you got your rank over early, which is good. You can relax now and just talk Tottenham. Anything on Sky Sports you want to add, before we move on? Anybody?
I think I was watching the same program as Mark this morning. I think it was Clinton Morrison and Jamie O'Hara were on. It was quite good, actually. It wasn't about the good banter between the two of them, But Jamie O'Hara still refers to Spurs as we all the time. And then Clinton Morrison kind of admitted that he was a closet Spurs fan. Did you hear that bit?
Yes.
Don't say that too loudly. But my biggest comment was match of the day last night. Danny Murphy and Alan Shearer reckon that the Tottenham's forward options are frightening. That's the way they put it. Frightening.
I read that today. I actually did read that Alan Shearer praised us, which is very unlikely.
Very praiseworthy. He said that I don't know if they actually say that the scoreline didn't reflect the game, which it didn't. But they were very, very impressed by Spurs and the options we have going forward now. And they were going over the top on Richarlison, how good he was. And what another dimension he brings to the whole attacking side of the team, So, it was nice. But normally I'd avoid match of the day like the plague because I know it's going to come on. But those two guys were actually very, very positive. And I began to think, am I dreaming? Have I gone to sleep or am I dreaming? Or is this actually happening,
I must admit, I listened to Danny Murphy when he's on Talk Sport with Jim White and Simon Jordan. And he said some he's very sensible things. What Danny Murphy says is an ex-Spurs player as well.
Yeah, of course.
He's very fair with everyone. The biggest idiot on there is Martin Keown on a Friday.
Yeah.
And that other idiot that sits on Soccer Saturday on a Saturday that talks.
Which idiots that? There's a few of them.
Yeah.
Paul Merson.
Oh,
Murph.
I mean,
Paul Merson would never predict. I mean, Paul Merson, he never predicts Spurs to win. If Paul Merson's prediction right, we'd be in Division 3 at the minute if it was a Division 3.
I mean, Paul Merson, I mean, how that fella ever got a job on Sky predicting football matches, because he should be a clown in the circus with him and Martin Keown and all the rest of them idiotic.
Gabby Ablong, whatever you call him, is be joining the thing. I watched his predictions for the games this weekend. The only prediction he got right was our score.
Yeah.
It's the only one he got right. You know,
and
Man City will win 3-0 at Villa. I come from an ex-Villa player. You know,
I tell you one thing. I'm going to go on to that City game coming up, Philip and Mark. But I tell you one thing: we can go up and get something from City.
I tell you,
we normally do.
They're not firing at the minute, even though they have Haaland.
Yeah.
If you stop Haaland, you stop City at the moment.
Well, put Romero on Haaland, and then that will stop him. We've got a couple of comments here I want to read out. Jula, big up, thank you. Auntie Ellie's resting tonight, so that's why she's not on, but she's back on tomorrow with me. We're doing a Spurs birthday special. She ran at THFC, are forced to be reckoned with. Still don't think they're at Man City or Liverpool's level, but they're catching them up. Dean Saunders with big praise for Tottenham. But
there was something else Jamie O'Hara said this morning. He reckons Liverpool will not make the top 4.
Yes, he did say that.
Did he say that?
Do you know what? I actually probably agree with him.
Sane was a huge loss for them. He really was. Mo Salah is like a fish out of water at the moment.
He's a bigger loss for them than I think most people actually realised. For Liverpool, I have to say. And
I think City and Liverpool are struggling. Well, not results-wise, City, but their defence certainly looks weaker than it did last year.
Well, look, I mean, guys, if you took Haaland out of that Man City team, do you think they'd be as effective?
Well,
if he was
definitely not.
With him, if he wasn't playing, I don't think they would be as dangerous as they have been in the past.
Still got De Bruyne. De Bruyne is a class act, and they still have some very good players. But I just don't think that they've gelled. Like, it's a good time to play them relatively early in the season before the streets ahead of everybody else. Like, if we can go up there and get a point, it'd be a massive result for us.
Yeah,
it'd be massive.
How many goals have they conceded? How many goals have they conceded so far this year?
They've been 2 behind in a couple of games so far. They conceded more goals than we have, anyway. That's for sure.
Yeah, I was going to say they've conceded as many goals in the 6 games that have gone than they probably did in the whole of last year.
Yeah. No, they're just not at the races at the moment fully.
That wouldn't surprise me, Ellie. You bursting eardrums around you, screaming when Holberg got his goal yesterday. I'm sure you did.
I heard her from where I was sat. And
where were you sitting in the end? Me and Nizam were trying to find out where you were sitting, Mark. We put comments on the screen and everything. So now can you finally tell us where were you sitting in the stadium?
East Stopper.
Near where Ben sits.
Right. I'm not sure, but I was at the south stand end. I'm not sure where Ben sits.
Ben's right in the middle of the upper east stand.
Well, I was. Well, if he's looking at the pitch, I'd have been to the left of him.
Yeah. This fella, Sweaty Cockerel. That's a good name. I like that.
Good name.
I tell you, there is some weird YouTube name for it. That one's the best one so far. That's actually quite a good one. We have one, if not the best, from 3 or 4 in the Premier League. Defences will be crapping themselves facing us when we play like we did against Fulham.
Yeah.
But we rarely do have the best 4 strike. I think this is the best 4 forwards we've had since Robbie Keane, Berbatov, Defoe, and I forget who the other one was. Crouchy. I think this is the best 4 we've had in a long time. I think our midfield is solid.
Yeah.
And I think also with Romero and Longley in the defence, I think that looks solid.
Yeah.
He played well yesterday.
Every reason for optimism, really, we have. And the fact that we've got a manager like Conte, the infrastructure that we have behind us, and apparently, we now have Daniel Levy is backing Conte. Okay, maybe not to the extent we would have liked in the transfer window, but what's done is done. We have to make do what we've got. But we've certainly had a much better window than an awful lot of other clubs.
Yeah, certainly better than Leicester.
In particular.
Definitely.
I reckon Leicester are going to go down.
Yeah, so do I.
And, and look at that. Champion 6 years ago. Relegation this year,
Yeah, definitely. Well, this is me and Izan's player ratings from yesterday.
Right.
We'll go through them. We gave Lloris an 8, Romero an 8, Dyer a 6, Longley an 8, Emerson a 7, Bentancur a 7, Holberg
11,
an 8,
11.
Segerson a 7, Richarlison an 8, Son a 7, Kane an 8. So that was me and Izan's player ratings. Mark, I'll start with you, and then I'll go to you, Philip. Mm-hmm. Can you give me your play ratings for the team yesterday?
Yeah, well, Lloris definitely deserves the 8 because if it weren't for him, we'd have drew. To be honest, he made one spectacular save right near the end of the game when it was 2-1. Let it go.
Now, hang on, they're coming back. Sorry, Mark.
There you go, Romero. I thought Romero, for the goal that Fulham scored, which, to be honest, was goal of the game. What a finish that was. But for the goal that they scored, what was his name again? Mitrovic, isn't it? Is it Mitrovic? Mm-hmm. Romero sort of put in half a challenge. Because when I seen him up against Romero, I thought, Romero will wipe him out, win the ball, and he'd be up in the air. But he sort of put in half a challenge, and he sort of just skipped round him. And then Eric Dyer turned his back. But it was a great finish, right in the other corner. Hugo had no chance for that. Dyer, he didn't really do a lot. Longley played well. Some of his passing was outstanding.
Yeah, but what are your scores for them out of 10, Mark?
I'd have knocked Romero down 1. I'd have given him 7.
But what's your scores? So,
Dyer, 6 is fair. Longley, you don't do half points, do you? Longley, 8.5. Royal, didn't really do a lot. I suppose 7's fair. Bentancur, I thought, had a good game as well. Might have bumped him up half a point. Højbjerg, that's about right. Tess was getting forward quite a bit. So I'd have probably bumped him up another half a point. Richarlison was my man of the match. He was everywhere. He was literally everywhere. So if I give some of them, did I say someone 8.5? I'd give him a 9. Son was quiet, although he did hit the bar. So that's about right for him. And Harry Kane, he scored like he normally does. The 8 for Harry Kane. He was. I was surprised when he took him off, to be honest, because he was the one holding the ball up. When the ball was played long to him, he's got that ability, and he just traps it in an instant or chests it down and then lays it off to somebody. So
and then for the players that came on, Perisic and Kulusevski, what would you give them?
Kulu was running about a bit, but I can't really remember him doing. I can't remember him like sliding a ball in or sort of half an assist that it was missed or something. And Perisic, he more or less did the same as Cesc did, because Fulham going the other way when we were defending offered nothing. To be honest, apart from the Mitrovic goal that was outstanding, they really did nothing. Tottenham were in complete control of that game. We was all over them. And so, so that's about it, really.
Yeah, that's fair. So that's marked. And please, in the chat, put in your player ratings as well. Do you agree with me and Izan and Philip and Mark? And Ellie as well, put your ratings in there as well. We'd love to get yours. Philip, do you agree with me and Izan's play ratings from yesterday? And what would your ratings be?
Lloris to get an 8 for a game which he did absolutely nothing except made 2 brilliant saves. He got his deck chair out there for most of the game.
He could have done.
8 is very good for him. Romero, a slight criticism of Romero over the goal. I thought he was a bit lax in his tackling. His he could have got out quicker and put a stronger tackle in. And as such, Dyer, I think, thought he was going to, and was a little bit slow in getting over to cover. I'd give Dyer a 7 because even though Mitrovic scored the goal, he was very quiet for most of the game, and it was Dyer that was keeping an eye on him. So Dyer did very well. Longley, great debut, 8, definitely. Royale, yeah, good, but could do better, I suppose, 7. Betancourt, solid as a rock. Some of the way he brought the ball out of defence was just a joy to watch. It really was. Like, to see Romero and Betancourt able to play the ball out with confidence and style, and you knew well it wasn't going to go back to the keeper. It was just brilliant. And let's hope that's the way it continues from now on. I'll give him a 7. Højbjerg, if Ellie's listening, I'll give him a 12. Just to be fair. No, 8. 8 is fair enough. He was very good.
Can I just change up? I'm going to agree with Philip as well before I get in there bashing as well. So I'm agreeing with Philip. He gets a 12. Okay, so there you go.
Well, I'll tell you, I said the crowd near Ellie got an ear bashing anyway. She'd not be the only one.
I tell you what, I feel sorry for the people sitting next to Ellie because she must have been cheering as loud as anyone.
I think the ear, nose, and throat hospitals in London were all doing extra shifts this morning to cater for the people that got with burst eardrums.
Do you know what? Do you know at one point, I swear to God, you and me were saying it during the commentary yesterday, Philip, about Ellie jumping onto the pitch after a play.
I half expected to see her coming on to give him a hug when he scored, I was
not expecting her dashing down the touchline and jumping on top of the players and everything.
Yeah.
It was at the other end, though. It was at the other end from where
That wouldn't stop her. That wouldn't stop her.
No, all right.
I'm surprised she didn't jump on when Richarlison scored either.
That was right near where she was sat. When Richarlison run over, I think she was in that sort of corner.
Good. No, she has nobody's photograph of it. Sessegnon 7. He wasn't great in the first half, but he improved a lot after half time. Richarlison, I give him a 9.
Yeah.
I think that is probably one of the most complete debuts. The only thing that was missing was a goal, and the post and a referee and VAR decision cost him that. So that will come again. I mean, I think, let's face it, we have a new hero there, really. I mean, the crowd absolutely loved. Did you hear the cheer that went up at the start of the match when they announced his name?
Yes. I noticed that.
Normally, only Harry Kane gets that level of cheer, but Richarlison got it yesterday. So, absolutely well done to him.
I mean, Philip and Mark, that goal he should have scored with the outside of his boot. I mean, that was just Brazilian magic.
The one that hit the post. You on about the one that hit the post?
Yeah, that was just Brazilian magic.
I mean, let's face it, he's the number one striker in the Brazilian national team. Let that sink in for a minute. Brazil, one of the favourites for the World Cup, and he's playing for us.
Yeah,
brilliant. Everton must be kicking themselves that he left. Because that's what I can say.
I just want to ask you this, and Ellie has put her team in, so I will get them up in a minute. And I got a lovely comment from Sweaty Cockrell. I will read yours out in a minute as well. Thank you, very appreciate, and we all appreciate kind words. Do you think we've had our Ricky Villa and Ozzy Ardiles moment with signing with Richarlison? Do you think this is for us? What you can remember? What you and probably Mark and Eddie can remember when we signed Ozzy and Ricky?
I'll tell you, when we signed Ozzy and Ricky, that was such a sea change as to what had happened before. I mean, it was unheard of at that stage to bring in players from abroad, or very rarely bring in players from abroad. Yeah. To go and bring in 2 World Cup winners, who won the World Cup 2 months previous with Argentina, bring them in like we did, was absolutely earth-shattering at the time. Yeah. And it's just a pity that at the time we were just being promoted. Like Nottingham Forest signing the 2 boys now, right? That's the impact it had with us. And it was brilliant. It was absolutely fantastic. Whether Richarlison can reach the same heights, he's got to win the FA Cup.
Yeah.
to level up with what the 2 boys have got, But he could well be. I mean, I can see Richarlison being one of the hits of the World Cup. And, then we've got a real. Imagine what he's going to be. His value is going to go up if he scores a few goals in Qatar.
Do you know what, Philip? I can see Brazil winning that World Cup. I really can.
Yeah. Let's face it. We have a World Cup winner from the last time in our team. Would it be nice to have another one?
It would.
Yeah. And with due respect to England now, I know England think they're going to win it, but with due respect, as long as a team with one of our players in it wins it, I'd be happy.
I mean, I'm not like yourself, Philip. I don't support England. Any team that plays England, I'll support the opposition. But for
Well,
Harry,
I'm probably going to. This is probably going to sound like heresy, right?
yeah,
But I will. If Harry Kane is playing for England, I want England to win.
yeah,
But when he's
Good
not, I
man.
don't. When he's not, I don't. That's
yeah.
the way it is.
I think with
I just want
Harry,
to see Harry Kane be successful, and
yeah,
I'm putting nationalistic things aside for that.
yeah. Do you know
That
what?
doesn't sound right, but that's just me,
Yeah, do you know what, Philip? I think you're right on that, and I think Eric Dyer deserves his chance in the England team as well.
Yeah, I think he'll be in the squad. I think Eric will
Yeah.
get in the squad,
He will.
because the way I look at it, if a Spurs player is playing well for his country, he comes back with a spring in his step playing for our club, and that's the thing I want.
That's
So really, I'm putting all nationalistic things aside.
Yeah.
And I hope that all I want is nobody to come back with a bad injury. That's the biggest thing I'm fearing. But anyway, just finish off with the scores.
For Son and Kane, and then I'll get Ellie's
Son, 7, and Kane. Yeah, I pretty much agree with most of them, except maybe the Dyer one and the.
I just want to explain why we gave Dyer a 6. Romero was on the yellow card, so I think that's why he didn't go in for the tackle. And I'm also thinking if Dyer was more clicked on, and this is the one time that I really get frustrated with Dyer because he has these lapses in concentration, and this was one of them. He should have been up there helping Dyer out, helping Romero out, closing the gap, and he gave the number 9 for Fulham so much room just to pick his spot, and it was a great goal as well.
It was the best goal of the game. It was the best goal
on
of
a
the game.
counter attack as well. That was just after Richarlison hit the post, wasn't it?
Yes,
that was. Yeah.
So literally, we committed so many players forward that maybe we got a little bit cocky then, and just thought we were going to kill this game off.
Yeah.
So maybe we were a little bit light in the midfield as well. So maybe he just didn't have the cover because the man had acres of space out on the left hand side when he got the ball. Really far too much space. So maybe what do you call him should have been back there, Royale. So I don't know. It's happened
Dyer
now.
turned his back as usual as well, which he does all the time.
Yeah, he's gonna have to get rid of that habit.
Yeah. Just take one in the plums if you got to.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Graham Roberts got his teeth knocked out in an FA Cup final, to be fair. So that's putting your body in mind. This is Ellie's play ratings. Louise 8, Royal 7, Romero 7, Longley 8, Dyer 6, Højbjerg 8. There you go, Ellie. I got it right for you. Benny 8, Richie 12. Now I'm really shocked over that. I thought she would give her Højbjerg more than an 8. Kane 7 and Son 7. And she missed out Segerson, and she gave him the 7 as well.
And just one thing I don't think we mentioned either, just to congratulate Harry Kane on moving up another notch in the goal scoring charts. There's only Wayne Rooney and Alan Shearer ahead of him now.
Yeah, he's third now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's third.
He is. Yeah. And this is from Sweaty Cockerel, and thank you so much for your kind words. It means a lot to myself, Philip, Izan, Ellie, Mark. It really does. He says, found your channel recently. Really enjoy and appreciate your overall knowledge and points of view regarding Spurs. Thank you for taking the time to provide us with great content. It's our pleasure. This channel is for you, the fans, and it really is. It's
overall
made by
knowledge
fans for the fans.
Overall knowledge. He's not talking about me then.
No, Mark, you bring your own. You bring your own way with the channel. You bring great knowledge on Gary Mabbott. Anything 1991 onwards, you're grand.
No.
The Mark, to be fair, anything 90 backwards, you're a bit hazy.
No. 80s I can remember.
Yeah.
Not so much the 70s.
No,
and
because
60s I won't even
because you were partying a lot then and partying with too much of that and partying away.
No. I wasn't 18 until 1988.
Mark, I'm a bit about
and obviously I did not drink until I was 18.
Oh no, absolutely. I know.
Yeah.
That's the law. But that's the
Mark,
law.
you were a priest and a saint then, weren't you?
Yes.
Of course you were. Yeah. I believe you. Philip believes you, but many others wouldn't.
Okay.
And trying to tell us, like myself and like Philip, we all did stuff before we were 18 we shouldn't have done. So that's. But we believe you, Mark. Right, and so just go through, guys. I'll start with you, Philip. Who was your man in the match?
The blondie Brazilian boy.
Yeah.
Richarlison, said probably one of the most impressive full debuts you'll ever see from anybody.
Marky, who was your man in the match?
I don't need to say anything. I said it earlier. Richarlison was just all over the place. He was all over the place. And how I know he hit the post and he had one ruled out, but if anyone deserved a goal, it was him. It was him. And when we went 1-0 up and it was Højbjerg, I thought of Ellie straight. I thought, I bet wherever Ellie is, she's going absolutely mental.
And my man in the match, I'm actually going for Højbjerg. I thought, as good as Richarlison was, Højbjerg got a first goal. He got us going. He's like the general with Bentancur in that midfield, and he keeps us going. I think he's had a great start to the season.
Yeah,
he really has. So
just going back to the Eric Dyer thing, I was astonished when he had a chance and he put it over the bar.
Yeah,
I thought, what on earth is he doing up there?
Yeah, well, it was a centre half shot, really, though, wasn't it?
I thought it was Harry Kane, and then I looked and I thought, that's bloody Eric Dyer. I thought, what's he doing up there?
So please put in the chat, who was your man in the match? Let us know, and who was your man in the match and why. So let us know. Put that in the chat. I just want to touch on a couple of players, and then I've got two really sort of questions I think we may spend a bit of time in each. How impressed, Philip, were you yesterday? How impressed were you of Longley yesterday in his debut?
Very.
Yeah.
He was crying out for a ball playing centre back. They could bring the ball out at pace, and we got it yesterday with himself and Romero. There was none of this tentative passing it around the back, scared to get move it forward. We got forward with pace, with purpose, and look what it paid off. It made us a completely different team. It changed the whole dynamic of the team yesterday. And it meant that the rest of the players got involved so much quicker in all the moves. And Fulham just couldn't live with it. Fulham could not live with it. It was great to see. It really was. And I don't think we'll be seeing Ben Davies back in the team for a while.
I don't think so. I've got to bring this up. Ellie says that's why you've committed
heresy.
Yeah. Philip, you're officially in the doghouse and on the naughty step again.
But what did I do this time? Didn't I say I want England to win when Harry Kane's playing? Is that not what she's on about?
I don't know what Ellie, let us know what Philip's did wrong, please. I don't think he's done.
I don't mind hierarchy, but heresy is a different thing.
Oh God, no! Ellie's on it tonight.
It's on the warpath now.
She is now. She'll be coming on any minute now, telling us off. And I barred her from the show tonight. I said, Ellie, you're having the night off, you're barred. So,
all right.
She bless her. Well, she was telling me she stood for the whole game yesterday, and she didn't sit down until
she was in the safes. What? Because there's certain areas of the safe standing.
Yeah, I was at that for one of the games. The Wolves game, I was safe standing.
Yeah.
Even though I had a seat, I stood up for most of it anyway. Because
some people were saying, bloody cheek, this. I paid for a seat, now they're making me stand.
Yeah.
Mark, how impressed were you with Longley yesterday? And then I go to the comments with a few people's man of the matches.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, no, I'm not. What show was it I watched earlier? Oh, we are Tottenham TV when they were live.
Yeah.
And they come out with a stat that every time Longley had the ball, he passed it more to the midfield than he did sideways, which is something you cannot say about Ben Davies. It was absolutely brilliant. As soon as he got the ball, he was looking forward. None of this sideways or back to Hugo. None of that. No. There was no. There was the odd time the ball ended up back with Hugo, but no. As much as a great keeper he is, whenever the ball goes back to Hugo, you sort of have a bit of a, you sort of think, please find one of our players when you kick it out. Just don't scuff it to one of their players. He's not the best with his feet, to be honest.
Yeah.
But that long leg, every time he got the ball, he just looked forward, and he was running with it.
He made some very technical passes as well. The angle of the pass is something that you wouldn't normally see from a fullback or a centre back. He was taking obviously taking a chance, but he felt confident in his ability to take that chance and get away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, we've got 18 likes. Come on, hit that like button. We've got 101 views. 18 likes. Let's hit that like button. Let's get that up to at least 30 before we end the show tonight. Let's get it up to 30. So go on. We don't like red like buttons, so hit that like button and hit that description if you're enjoying what you're seeing. And also, for me, it was great to see our centre backs play out.
Yeah.
It made it easier for the midfielder to turn defence into attack.
Yes.
I think we've been crying out for that, and I thought Longley had a brilliant debut. Philip, I mean, how far can Spurs go this season in the league? Could we win the league? I mean, we're unbeaten from the end of last season. I think we're now 14 games unbeaten in total. We've had this season, we've had 4 wins, 2 draws. We haven't lost a game. We seem to be defending well. We seem to be scoring well. Could we win the league this year?
Technically, yes. In reality, no. I mean, I know we're saying Man City aren't firing on all cylinders at the minute, but they will do. They will fire on all cylinders eventually, you know. So, I mean, I would love to say, yeah, we can win it. And that, but what I will say is we get another couple of good transfer windows. We could be sitting here this time next year and it'd be a completely different answer. I'd say, yes, we can win it.
Yeah.
This season, I think we've got to aim at 2nd or 3rd. Okay, 4th would be an option, but I think we've done 4th. Time to move up. And with the fact that Liverpool are in a bit of a rebuilding phase at the minute, with a very not an ancient team, but the Liverpool team now, the average age is high. They have a lot of senior players in there. Like when they're relying on the likes of James Milner at 37 years of age and things like that. You know, there's a lot of there are a lot of players over 30. I think that Liverpool's time at the top is they're going to have a rebuilding phase, and they're going to drop down the league. So we can capitalize on that. Now we're going to have to watch out for the likes of maybe not this season, but Newcastle next season, because that dirty money they have is going to improve their squad no end, you know. But yes, I think we should go 2nd or 3rd this season, hopefully 2nd, but win at least one of the cups.
Yes,
definitely. We've got Ellie here saying, I like that blondie Brazilian boy, Philip. He's a Brazilian nutcase, but love him. Exactly. He really is. I mean, the bit I love, he's whipped his top off and he does. I've been waiting for him to do the chicken sort of dance. And I thought, he did it yesterday. I thought, fair play to you. Marky, how far can Spurs go this season in the league? Could we win it?
We're doing a quadruple.
Yeah.
Everybody knows this.
No, I'm being serious now. Could we win the league now? Put your sort of Spurs heart to one side and use on our noodle. Can Spurs win the league? I mean, Philip is right, 2nd and 3rd. But I think we can go further than that.
Of course we can win the league. There's only 6 games gone, but will we? I mean, basically, I agree with what Philip just said. I mean, City are going to find their mojo, and let's be honest, if City suddenly click into gear, they'll just blow everyone else away.
Yeah.
Honestly, there'll be no one that can lay a glove on them. They just will give it. If they do click into gear, as soon as they do that, you just will give them the trophy. Say, well, keep it from last year, and that'll be the end of it. You know, but can we finish 3rd? Liverpool's struggling. It's like Philip said, they've got an aging team. You know, 2nd or 3rd, I'd take that. But a top 4 finish and a cup. A cup.
Yeah.
To be honest, to me, the cup is the most important thing.
Which one?
Really, the FA Cup, because the League Cup gets looked down upon. You know, even if we win it, it'd be marvellous, and all of us would be celebrating. But it really does. Yeah, I mean, if we won the League Cup, everyone would say, "So what? So what?" But you look at Man City; they take it seriously every year. I mean, they won it. Was it 5 or 6 years in a row before, like last year when Liverpool won it? You know, I mean, they always take it seriously. You know, but if we won it, it'd be like that. Don't count. That's not a proper trophy. you know. So, and to be honest, the FA Cup is the FA Cup, you know.
31 years we won it. It's time we won it again.
It is a very long time, isn't it?
Yeah, buddy. I was 20.
I mean, Philip, look, we haven't won the league since '61. It's very, very long time, before my lifetime anyway. Do you think if all the stars aligned and all the moons aligned, that we could do it this year? We could do a Leicester, what Leicester did when they won it 6 years ago.
Yeah, but see, Manchester City didn't have Pep Guardiola at that stage.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, City are always going to be the obstacle to anybody winning the league. You know, to win the league, you've got to get past City. And what it means is us matching City's results game for game and then beating them on the last day of the season or whatever. And to be honest, I just don't. I think Conte's right. We're not there yet. The other teams are still ahead of us. But give us another couple of transfer windows, and we will be possibly there or thereabout. We'll be a lot closer to winning it next season than we are at the moment.
Yeah,
I think that's the best way of putting it, you know. And we can only hope that a few of the City players go off the boil, or that they their recruitment policy gets pulled up by financial fair play eventually, and they actually pay the penalty for their crimes, if you like, rather than appealing and getting away on appeal, as they did the last time, you know.
Relegation.
Talks.
Joel says, "Isn't that boring? City winning the league again? I would love to see us win it, but any trophy will do." Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Any trophy will do. Look, I think we can win the league this year. I'm probably being very deluded, but I think we can. I think we've started off very well. I think Conte has a knack of, in his second season, and winning something major. He did it with Chelsea. He done it with Inter. I think he done it with Juventus as well. And he won. And I think he's got this team of never give up attitude in the squad now, which we never had before. So look, I just think we can. I just think we can do it. I think we can meet Saturday. And if we beat City Saturday, I think that would lay down the marker for the rest of the season.
Yeah. That's
a huge marker.
Yeah, that's a real big statement. That will be.
And let's face it, nobody expected us to beat them last season.
No, they didn't.
We went up there, and Harry Kane probably had the best individual performance of any player in the entire season that night.
Yeah.
And look what we did. And we came back from the disappointment of giving away a penalty in injury time to beat them. You know, that took some guts.
It did. It read. I mean, you look at the World Cup now. That for me, the season has to be split into two halves. There's part one and part two. Do you think we can remain unbeaten to the World Cup?
Difficult.
We might not remain unbeaten after next week.
Yeah.
Mark, don't be.
No, I'm just saying.
It's very difficult because, you know, you might go up there and beat City. Like, remember what we did last season? The typical Spursy. We beat Man City on the Saturday and lost to Burnley on Tuesday.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's just. In fact, you know something, that was a repeat of the 2010. Remember the night we went to City and we beat them to get into the Champions League?
Yeah.
Peter Crouch.
We went to Burnley the following Tuesday, who had already been relegated and got hammered.
And we lost.
Yeah. So, you know, this is it. You can never legislate. You win the matches you don't think you're going to win, and some team you haven't given a chance of beating us will pull a surprise and beat us. Yeah. And that's just the way it's going to be occasionally. Not too often, but occasionally.
Yeah.
I think that side of our game's gone, though. Because you look at our first, because you look at the first, was it 4 games, and all the teams we played, we dropped points last year.
That's right.
Chelsea, Wolves, Southampton, and whoever else it was. I can't remember the other one.
Chelsea,
we lost
Wolves, and Chelsea, Wolves.
Yeah, Wolves, Southampton, Chelsea, West Ham, and we lost all them games.
Yeah,
we lost all them games, and so we're 8 points up already.
Yeah.
We are. Well, look, I think we can do it. I agree with you guys the same, but I think I'm just being deluded and just being completely out of there. I think we are going to. I said at the start of the season, we will remain unbeaten before the World Cup, and I'm going to stand by that.
That's a big statement. That is a big statement.
Well, look, why can't we? we're quite capable of going up to City and getting a result. We're quite capable of beating Arsenal like we did last season at home.
Yeah.
We were one of the last unbeaten teams last season, weren't we? Bad and all as we were.
We're not a soft touch
we lost
anymore,
after
though.
3 games, though, didn't we? We
No,
won the
must be the
first
season
3 and then
before.
lost
Must be the season
3.
before.
Yeah.
The season before. Yeah.
We're 14 games unbeaten. I mean, somebody said to me, and then I said it on air yesterday, and I put it into a chat, I think, onto Dave's channel. He can see us matching the 60-61 start to the season that they had at the start to their season.
11 games, wasn't it? 11
games. There's no reason
they had 11 straight wins, Dermot, though. They had 11 straight wins.
Yeah,
11 straight wins, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's no reason we can have the best start to a season in a generation. And I think we can. I really do. And I think we can stay unbeaten to the World Cup. I really do.
The only thing I will say about that is you've got to remember that game against that lot that I'm not going to mention. It is at their place, and we never do very well there.
Well, we owe them. We owe them for last season. The players owe us at least a performance. Because last year they never turned up.
We say that every year, but whenever we go there, it just doesn't happen.
Well, Mark, this year's different. You will see.
Okay. Again, we go to Chelsea, normally get beaten. That didn't happen this year. We don't get record at West Ham. That didn't happen either. So maybe there is a change in mindset. You know.
Well, I already said we're doing the quad anyway.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know. So Dermot, we're going to win. Dermot's going to win the league. You're going to win the quad. I'm only winning the FA Cup. This is poor now. I'll have to.
Yeah.
Mark, you're welcome back into the family again. You're welcome back into that's it. Sweaty Cockrell. He says, I feel Spurs are getting a lot more hate on social media, especially this season. It must mean we're doing something right. Philip, what do you say?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've had the cheek to break up Sky's traditional top 4 that was Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester United, and Chelsea. Man City with the new kids on the block. We've come along now, and we smashed that over the last number of years. It is now. I just looked up the other day. The other day was the 2,300th anniversary, day-wise, of Arsenal finishing ahead of us in the league. 2,302 days now, I think it is. So yeah, the media doesn't like us. It's patently obvious. If it likes Jamie Redknapp spouting bullshit, he probably still blames us for sacking his dad back 10 years ago, whenever it was.
Yeah.
You know, you've got Jamie Carragher, who can't keep his. Well, I won't say anything much about him. You've got Paul Merson, Alan Smith. Somebody made a very good comment today. I think it's dead on. No pundit should be allowed co-commentate on their own team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a simple rule. You should not do it because it's like I could not be impartial if I was commentating on a Spurs game. It just is hard to do, you know. And some guys lose it completely. Like Jamie Carragher, when Mo Salah scores the goal, he's roaring, Salah, yeah, beauty. You know, where's the impartiality in that?
I know.
Absolute bullshit. What's Ellie saying there now?
Ellie is saying here, it's brilliant. Ellie is saying, Phil, Sky Sports just text me. They say you can be their new their new Spurs correspondent.
Well, only if they sack Merson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not working alongside them.
And Ellie also put, it didn't come up, but I've just copied and pasted it. She went, Ellie, smash the like button. If you're yet to subscribe, please support our channel. You're fantastic Spurs fans. Big up, Ellie.
Yes.
Please, everyone, like and subscribe. And then Joel put, there's nothing wrong with being confident, Dermot. I think I'm not being confident. I think I'm being deluded.
You've had too much gin
wrong
again.
in being deluded either.
Have you been on the gin again?
Yeah, I am actually. I'm on the vodka and Coke in this one.
Oh, nice.
And then I've got a bit of pochine and orange in this one, so I'm doing quite all right tonight. Yeah. A bit of pochine puts hairs in your chest, believe me. Look, well, I want to spend a bit of time in this. This is sort of the last question. I think it's the best way to end the show, and I would like a bit of time because I'm sure you've got loads of stories, Philip, about Tottenham over the years, and you as well, Mark, and people in the chat. Please put in your favourite Spurs moments. Me and Ellie will be doing the show tomorrow. Hopefully, Philip, we're on if you can. And we'll be doing it as we celebrate Tottenham's 140th year as a club. As Tottenham reach 140 years old tomorrow, what is your best memory? Philip, you must have so many.
Oh God,
So,
my earliest memory.
without getting to your best memory first, tell me, why did you become a Spurs fan, and what was the first thing that attracted you to following Tottenham?
Like I started supporting Spurs at a very early age. I was only about five or six at the time, and it would have come right after the Cup Winners' Cup win in '63, and Jimmy Greaves would have been the reason.
Yeah,
Jimmy Greaves was my hero from the minute I knew about him until the
Mhm.
day he left Spurs, and he was still my hero after that.
yeah,
And I thought he was absolutely superb. My earliest by the memory was when we about that age. We moved from Belfast in Northern Ireland over to England. My father was working over there, and we lived near the Aston Villa ground. And he used to bring me with my treat when Spurs would play Aston Villa. He'd bring me to the match, right? But my father he had a problem with his foot; he couldn't stand up, so we had to go into the stand. And I remember it cost 7 and 6, 7 and 6 in all money for a seat in the stand. But in those days, I was only a kid of 5 or 6 or 7, whatever it was.
Yeah.
He used to lift me over the turnstiles and only pay for himself. And then if there was a spare seat, I'd sit on his knee during the match. Or if there's a spare seat, I'd go and sit in there. So that was my earliest memory. But I also remember, too, Spurs were not very good on the road in those days. We were nearly unbeatable at White Hart Lane, but on the road we were vulnerable. And I very rarely saw them win. And Villa had a decent enough team at the time. So, and then used to branch out and go and see them play at West Bromwich and Birmingham City. And the Birmingham City ground, now I'll tell you, I don't know if anybody watched Peaky Blinders.
Yeah.
Right. It hasn't improved much since then. That area of Birmingham. It's pretty rough now, They used to go there, and you daren't wear any Spurs favours or colours or anything because that was taboo in those days. But that was my earliest memory of Spurs. And then when we moved back here in the early 70s, my first trip to White Hart Lane was 1975, and I had my girlfriend with me. I brought her to the match, and she's still here.
So hang on. So Philip's first date with his future wife was a trip to Tottenham. And
well, it wasn't quite the first date, but let's just say she's been suffering. She's a Spurs fan by sufferance ever since,
Romance ain't dead, is it?
Yeah.
Romance isn't dead. Romance.
No. And then I brought her to the most famous game I ever brought her to was the 1978 game. Second last game of the season against Hull, when we won 1-0 and scraped up the next day against Southampton. Next game against Southampton, she was at that game too, and she still talks about it. She's never seen so many nervous people in all her life because it was the 81st minute when we scored the goal. So and she wouldn't class her as a soccer fan now, but she learned a lot about soccer that night. A lot about me as well because I was nearly crawling on the floor praying that we'd score.
And a few new swear words, no doubt.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So that's me. That's it. That's I could go on forever, but that's just a brief taster.
Yeah, and to be fair, Mark, an Irish woman knows how to swear from a very early age.
Okay.
Let's put it that way. They're not in backwards and coming forwards. And Philip can tell you that's true as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Mark, look. Why did you become a Spurs fan, and what was your earliest memories of Tottenham? And and also I get from you, Philip, your best memory, and what was your best memory? But why did you become a Spurs fan, Mark?
I'm a Spurs fan because my dad is, and I had no say in the matter. And that I had it drummed into me from. I remember when I was a kid, I had one of these little pull-out keyring things. With all the players on. I suppose it would have been 73 or 74, and it was like little squares, maybe an inch square. And I could name all the players when I was about 3 years old. I can't remember who they were. It was probably Cyril Knowles and people like that. Yeah. And so that's basically why I'm a Spurs fan, because I had no choice in the matter. But I know my dad used to take me. He would only take me to White Hart Lane when he thought there was going to be no trouble. So there'd be no London derbies. There'd be no Man United game. He'd take me to watch teams like Southampton, for instance. You know, them at home. Well, I can't remember who was in the first division back then, but it would have been the teams where you know, because I'd have only been like 4 or 5. And so he took me somewhere where he didn't think of, but the things I saw was, honestly, it made you bloody hair curl. I mean, that's even against like the teams where you think, oh, their fans ain't going to be at no hassle. You know, so God knows what it was like when we played like Millwall or Arsenal or someone like that.
Sure, they're all playing tiddlywinks at the back of the stands. That's what they were doing. They're all playing pass to pass for them.
I doubt that very much. I doubt that very much.
Did you actually give the ball? You told us a story about you giving the ball to somebody.
Oh, yeah. I think, and it was something like my 9th, because one thing my dad used to do is he used to take me up near my birthday, which is like the beginning of October. And he used to take me up to the game that probably just after, it depends when we were home. And he took me, I can't, for the life of me, I think it was Nottingham Forest, possibly. And we were sort of stood east stand, lower, up towards the Paxton Road end, which was the home end. And he used to send me down the front because the fences and that was still up then.
Yeah.
He used to send me down near the front so I could see, because there was all these big blokes stood in front of me and whatever. And so I went down the front, and there was still more big blokes stood up by the fences to get their view. And so I went back to find him because the crowd was jostling about. I got lost. I couldn't find him. He sent to me to go out to like policeman, and I said, I'm lost. I can't find my dad. And he started with me. And then they took me inside the fences, and I sat on the St. John's ambulance bench right up the other end of the ground. And I sat there in the corner. And at half time, there was an announcement over the tannoy, like from Dad, you know, we have your son. Do you want him back? It's £100. No, I don't want that. It was like, oh, we have your son. He is safe, and like contact whoever. And he come walking down the touchline to see me. And he said, are you all right? Yeah, I said, yeah, I can see. And he said, all right, I'll pick you up after the game then. And so he left me there. And during the second half, Tottenham had a corner, and the ball come rolling over and landed at my feet. I bent down to pick it up, so I thought, I'm going to touch the football here, the one that they're playing with. There's none of this multi-ball back then. And I bent down to pick it up, looked up like that, and Glenn Hoddle was stood right in front of me. And it was like a vision. It was just like, you know, when like the Lord or something appears in front of somebody, because he had like quite long hair anyway. It was just like.
So did the skies open with sunlight, Mark?
Yeah, there was sunshine behind him and everything.
Lights everywhere.
Yeah, there was sunshine. Oh, I couldn't believe it. I looked up, and Hoddle was stood right in front of me. And of course, like he was, I told you the story on the Gary Malbert thing. When I was a kid, he was like the hero. He's the one when I used to play football. I wanted to be Glenn Hoddle, but I was crap, so I didn't bother.
Well, look, Mark. I mean, Philip, what is your best memory of you over the 140 years? I know you weren't there for all 140. Philip.
I was going to say, it's not that.
Not quite.
No, but what have you? I mean, for what's your best memory from when you started them up to now, and also, do you think it's important that we? Let me ask you this question first, Philip, and then I go to your best memory. Is it important for us fans to cherish our history, to know it, to breathe it, to soak it all in, to make us appreciate what our club is all about?
Absolutely. Because I tell you, I'll give you an example. If you ask a Chelsea fan who Peter Osgood was or Peter Benetti was, chances are, no idea. Chelsea fans only started supporting them in 2003 when Abramovich money came in, most of them, right? Yeah. Spurs fans have a much, much greater knowledge of the team than, you know, we know our history, we know our who the players were back in the 60s, 50s, 40s even, you know? Yeah. So that point of view, our history means an awful lot to us. I mean, it's we're an old school club, basically. We're old school, even though we've got the most modern ground and the most modern training facilities. We are technically one of the oldest clubs in the league, 140 years to be sniffed at, So it's so important, and it's so important for the club to recognise that history by all the pictures around the ground of the old stadium and Bill Nicholson. Now that brings it all back to new fans to show you where the what would you say, the germ of a seed that was planted 100 years, 40 years ago. Now look where it's got us to now. It's very, very important.
Can I
and also,
interrupt, Philip? Can I interrupt? Do you think that's because we win bugger all these days? That's why we look bad.
Well, no, I don't think so. No, I think the history's always there, regardless of whether you're successful or not. Every club has a history. It just depends how much you intend to highlight it. Like from what I've seen of the new ground, there's reminders all over the place of years gone by. That's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. Now, all I need now is a few new statues outside the ground of numerous of Bill Nicholson, of Jimmy Greaves, and the likes of that. My favourite moment now. I'm going to go on. I could pick any one of 20, and this isn't one of the cup-winning moments. It's the first.
Give us your top three, Philip. Give us your top three. If you
got
loads,
top three would be when I was at school and we won the 1967 World Cup.
Yeah,
I was the only person in the class supporting Spurs. Because living in Birmingham, you didn't support Spurs, right?
No.
And there was a Chelsea fan who moved up from London. There was a Chelsea fan in the class, and I gave him hell on the Monday morning. I'll always remember that. So, second one is the 1984 UEFA Cup win on penalties at White Hart Lane. Yeah. I remember we were living in northwest Donegal at the time, where the TV reception was absolutely diabolical. And I spent the day before the match up on the roof, making sure the aerial was working in a gale force wind, to make sure that I got to see the match. And I got to see the match okay in a grainy, snowy effect TV. There was no HD in those days. But the picture was just good enough to see it properly. So I'll always remember that, that's nearly getting blown off the roof, trying to fix the aerial to see the match.
Do you nearly did a Rod Hull then? It was almost Rod Hull all over again. You remember the guy with Emu?
Oh, yes.
He was up on his roof, sorting his area out for the Man United game, and he fell off and died.
He didn't make it.
He fell off and died. Right.
Yeah, no, and so we were living, there was next stop America, really on the North Atlantic. It was quite windy. But my favourite one is, and this again is just because it's Ozzy Ardiles and Ricky Villa. I got tickets for their first match, pre-season friendly in Dublin in 1978, played Bohemians.
Yeah.
Then Huddle, the whole lot were over there. The ticker tape welcome when they came out on the pitch. The place was bopping. Like it created a huge stir in Dublin that these two guys will be playing their first, friendly game, if you like, in Dublin. And the tickets cost a princely sum of 50p. Take that in, 50p. And when we were moving house last year, I came across the ticket. I still with the ticket.
Nice.
I can't remember where I put it. It'll come to me. But I still have the ticket for that. And I remember bringing my young nephew my cousin to the game. And it was his first Spurs game, right? I said, I'm going to indoctrinate him. To this day, he's still a Spurs fan.
No,
but to his eternal shame, he now has a son who's an Arsenal fan.
Oh.
But that game was great. We won it 4-0. It's not the match was important. It was just the history of it, the fact that we're broken new ground. We're bringing in two Argentinian players. And it was a great day out. It really was.
I mean, Mark and Philip and Mark, look, we big up to White Hart Lane. I love this fella's name. Yeah. I really do. I know White's his last name, but what a name. And big up Bobby K as well, and the three Spurs boys. Please, everyone get over, like, and subscribe to Bobby K and the Three Spurs Boys YouTube channel. Big up Bobby K. Look, we were founded under a lamppost in Northumberland near White Hart Lane is now. Yeah. Look, we've come a long, long way. Do you think if the people that founded our club were alive now and they were to look back, what a journey it's been, though, hasn't it? It's been one hell of a ride so far this 140 years. Yeah, we've had some ups, we've had some downs, we've had glory nights, and we've been points of pulling our hair out. But I think you agree with me, Philip. I think you agree with me, Mark. There's no better thing than being a Tottenham Hotspur fan.
No. It's frustrating at times. It's infuriating. It's frustrating. It's everything. But I'll tell you one thing Spurs did that will never, ever in the history of football be repeated. We won the FA Cup as a non-league team.
Yes. Yeah.
Never, ever going to be repeated. So,
No,
we've got that
definitely
in
not.
our locker.
Do you know
And-
we were the first team to win in Europe? First English side to win Europe. We were the
British
first
team.
team this
British
century to
team.
do the double.
And we came up from the second division in 1950 and won the league the same next year.
Yeah.
That
Didn't
as
we?
well.
Yeah, we won it
That's
back
never
to
going to
back,
happen
didn't we?
again.
Right,
Yeah,
here's a
it's-
question for you two before we end up. I've got two questions, and I hope Mark gets them. Right, I know
hang
Philip
on.
will probably get them. Can you name me the three players in that 49-50-51 team that won the league that went on to win two different championships with different clubs?
Alf Ramsey, Bill Nicholson,
Yeah.
and the last one. Jesus. Alf Ramsey, Bill Nicholson.
Who did he manage actually? Who did
Ipswich.
And Bobby Robson was Ipswich manager as well before he went to manage England as well.
That's right. But I don't know who the third Spurs player was that won
No,
something.
it was only two. It was Bill
Oh,
Nicholson.
all right, okay. Right, okay.
And I think Ed Bailey was in that 49.
Eddie Bailey, yeah, he was Bill's assistant manager then.
Yeah. Wasn't
And,
he Keith Birkinshaw's assistant for a while too?
He could have been, yeah, he could have been. Yeah, he stayed on, I know, when Bill Nicholson left,
Yeah,
But
I always remember Ed Bailey. Any views quickly? I've got Ed M saying Gary Lineker's first game was against Bohemians as well as Gaza was just after signing. I was there but didn't play.
Yeah, that was 10 years after the Bohemians game. Yeah,
Mark, for you, best Spurs moment for you ever?
Am I allowed to do top three?
Yeah, you can. You can go. You can go any from the 60s up to now. It doesn't
I wasn't
have
born
to
in
be.
the 60s. Right. Or just watching it on telly.
Anything.
Oh, all right. Right. Very, very predictable. Obviously, the 81 FA Cup replay. Obviously, because of what Ricky done.
Mm-hmm.
I got to mention the semi-final in 91.
Yeah.
That's another one. And even though I've seen us win a few trophies, not masses, but I'm going to leave the trophies out of it. I'm going to go for Lucas Moura in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
So I'll never, ever, ever forget where I was, what I was doing, how many times I fell over. No, there was none of that. No, I was sober.
Yeah, of course you were, Mark. We believe you.
I was working.
Yeah.
I was working.
You could say we believe you. Don't worry, we got your back.
No, true story. I was working.
Yeah. Okay, we believe you. If you were sober that night, Mark, then you're a better man than me and everybody else.
I was honestly, Dermo. I was working.
Yeah. I think one of my best Spurs moments was when we first qualified for the Champions League.
Yeah, crouching.
When we won that 1-0 away.
Yeah.
To Man City, and I remember texting my ex-brother-in-law at the time. I remember the words that said, "Get your passports ready. Spurs are on the European march again." And just Bentley Duncan, Harry Redknapp with water all over him. Well, look, end it there. So go on, Philip.
No, just before you finish, you should just say I downloaded a new ringtone onto my phone for this week.
Okay. Oh, please play it. Please play it. Oh. Just sit there and let that soak in.
It's coming.
Oh, there we go.
Oh.
So now let's get us in the mood for Wednesday night, huh?
Wednesday night.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm already in the mood already, and it's Sunday.
Yes.
We've got Ellie's here. Ellie's favourite moment. When I put on my Spurs shirt, my first game when I played for the Spurs lady was a dream come true.
Yeah, well done.
I was in football football heaven, lads. And
Yeah.
I mean, Ellie is. Look, I'm going to say this now, and I'm sure Philip and I'm sure Mark would back me up in this. We are so lucky to have a football legend in Ellie on this channel. She really is a Spurs legend.
Absolutely.
She
And
is
even in person, she's absolute
Yeah.
lovely lady.
Can I
I
just
met
say-
her, obviously.
Yeah,
Yes.
can I just say, Ellie was a pioneer for women's football.
Yeah.
Because when
Yeah,
she
yeah.
started, there wasn't what there is now, and there wasn't it was laughed at when Ellie used to play.
Yeah.
So Ellie was a pioneer for the women's game, and I think Tottenham as a club should recognise the people that actually
Yeah.
that did that back then, and
Yeah.
I think we should do a petition to get Ellie recognised by Tottenham as a Spurs ladies great, and I think we should do that. So that's something I want to do because I think
Good
the club
point,
should be
Thomas. Very good.
recognised.
What is
I
that
think they
thing?
should, Philip. I think we recognise the old men footballers from over the years.
Yeah,
Why can we not
absolutely.
recognise the former Spurs
Absolutely.
ladies
Oh,
players?
half time during one of the matches, bring Ellie's team back together again. As
Yeah,
many
exactly.
as there are. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she deserves that. I think that all of them deserve it. The former ladies players that put Spurs ladies on the map.
Yeah.
So I think she deserves that, and I think all of them deserve it because they are the pioneers of women's football, and the women's footballers of today have an awful lot to thank the women of the past. It's like the men's players have an awful lot to thank the players of the past, like what's his name? He used to do all the football commentary on Match of the Day with the chin.
Jimmy Hill.
Jimmy Hill.
He done all the for the players' wages. Do you know?
That's right. He got the maximum wage of £20 a week abolished.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's
He was
and that's
playing
when
for
we
Fulham.
signed Jimmy Greaves, wasn't it? Was that when we signed Jimmy, or was that when we sold him?
It was the season after that. The season after we signed, after the maximum wage was abolished, we signed Jimmy Greaves.
I was watching Jimmy Greaves thing the other night. He was on £6 a week in the summer
With Chelsea,
and he used to he used to clean the terraces at Wimbledon.
Yes,
in the summer.
Yeah, for a bit extra money. I've seen that documentary as well.
Sorry, Mark.
Well, I'm obviously not speaking for Ellie. Obviously, I wouldn't do that. But like, Ellie does a lot for that. Is it her game too?
Yeah,
that promotes women's football. Is it Holly or something? Tottenham fan. She's on another channel.
Yeah, I know who it is.
Yeah,
the name escapes me.
Yeah, it's Holly. It was Holly.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if it's not her name.
But look, I think personally, and I know Philip, and I will speak to Dave about this as well. And I think can we get a group of us together to petition the club because Edem's right, it would make a great documentary.
He deserves it. He really deserves it.
Yeah,
she does deserve the recognition because she is Kirsty. That's it. Cheers, Bobby.
Kirsty, that's the one.
Thank you. Ellie, if you got any old footage, send it to me and we'll get it up in the channel and we'll try to do a bit of a trip down memory lane for you over the good old days for you. But look, it needs to be done. So everyone, please email. The email for the channel is in the YouTube channel. Email us what you want us to do. Let's get a petition. Let's get Tottenham Hotspur Football Club to recognise Ellie and the old Spurs ladies team.
Yeah, all of them.
All of them.
All of them, not just Ellie.
Yeah, that's what I meant. All of them, Mark, as well, because they all deserve recognition. They are the pioneers for the women's game. And to be fair, the women's game has really gone on leaps and bounds. I mean, England, the European Championships, Ireland are in the playoffs.
Can you say that again, please? Can you just say that the first bit?
The England women's side are European Championship. Well,
Thank
look,
you.
Can I just say something? It has to take a lady to do something that men couldn't do since 1966.
Well, all right.
And also, our girls in green are playing away to Slovakia on Thursday in the World Cup playoffs as well. So look.
And can I just say something about the women's game?
Yeah.
Tottenham versus
Man United.
WSL.
Yeah.
It's live on Sky next Sunday morning.
I'm going to see me and Ellie going to do a watch along for that. I think that's something me and Ellie have been talking about. Ellie says Kirsty is the ambassador. She has said once Spurs come on board, she has me down to join her. Yeah. Well, look, Ellie, let's get you recognised first, because I think you and your colleagues who started the women's team back in the 70s and 80s deserve so much recognition, more than you do get. Well, look, it is 140 years old tomorrow. Me and Ellie did write down what we're doing. Ellie's brilliant for this because I'd forget. What is your best Spurs memory? Join us tomorrow, everyone in the chat, as we celebrate 140 years of the mighty Spurs. And if you want to come on, we'll have the StreamYard link in our community section, so you can come on and for about 10 minutes talk about your Spurs memories. And look, let's celebrate Spurs' birthday. They're 140 years old tomorrow. Philip, see you in the week for.
Yeah, I'm going to be missing from on Wednesday. Unfortunately, I have to go to the hospital for a small procedure. So, I don't know whether I'm going to be compos mentis for the match even at this stage. I don't know what the timing's on it now. So, but I'm back in action on Thursday. It's just minor.
We'll have Philip back for the post-match game. Hopefully for the game. But if it's not, Philip, hope you're hospital. I know what you're going in for. It's only little things, so I'm sure you'll be fine. And hopefully that's sorted out. And look, we're going to beat Marseille.
Yeah, of course.
Should do.
Absolutely. I'll tell you one thing. Romero must be looking at your man Guendouzi's hairline and saying, right, I'll do him as well.
Yeah. I was watching him. I was watching Romero yesterday when William come on, and I thought, please put his hair.
I swear to God, Romero sees somebody with long hair. You can see him going like this in the back line.
Yeah.
Right? That's me.
You know what I keep thinking of when I see Romero looking at somebody with long hair? I keep thinking of that film Silence of the Lambs. I don't know why.
Yeah, he must sit there go. He's in there getting all ready. I swear Conte Dave said this before. I swear Conte sticks him into a dark room with a picture of the strikers, right? And he's marching around this room, punching the walls. Just let me out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's time for the match. Conte just opens the door and he's out like Speedy Gonzalez. Ellie said those ladies in the Euros were brilliant. The goals scored were fabulous. Fair play to you, Ellie. I will eat. Well done. That's all I'm going to say. But the girls
are landing here now, so I'm gonna have to finish up, I think.
Yeah, we're finishing up now, Philip. Just very quickly, are you gonna do a watch along for Champions League game Wednesday? Yes, me and I think it'd be me, just me by myself. If I can grab somebody to come in with me, we will be doing the watch along on Wednesday. And Ellie's saying good luck at the hospital, Philip, and that's for more of us as well, Philip.
Definitely.
Look, we're back again on tomorrow with the birthday show. We're back on Tuesday with a pre-match show, watch along on Wednesday, post-match show on Thursday, and we'll start all over again on Friday with a pre-match show for Man City on the weekend. Thank you very much for everyone's kind words and I hope you enjoyed the channel. Please like, subscribe. The link for the PayPal, if you want to donate, is in the chat. If you want to become a Patreon member, the link is there as well. God bless you all. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.